story of promising young Hollywood actress Judith Barsi continues to resonate deeply, even decades after her death at the tender age of 10. At the same time that her star was rising, she was also living a dark and tumultuous family life that ended in an unimaginable tragedy. Judith Eva Barsi was born on June 6, 1978, in Los Angeles, to Hungarian immigrants Maria and Joseph Barsi. The couple, who'd both been married before, were Hungarian immigrants who fled their homeland after the 1956 Soviet invasion. Joseph, who had a difficult upbringing in a tough industrial area of Hungary, and Maria, from a rural southern university town, arrived in the United States separately, each seeking a better life. Hungarian friends of the couple said they met at a Los Angeles restaurant, where Maria worked as a waitress and people from their homeland frequently visited. Joseph would sit at the bar and order drinks, for which he paid with $100 bills. Maria was impressed, seeing in the man, dubbed Arizona Joe because he'd once lived there, someone who could give her security. In the early years of their marriage, they were a happy couple. However, despite their shared heritage and the dreams that brought them to America, their marriage later began to be marred by conflict. Their volatile relationship would also have devastating consequences for their daughter. As soon as Judith, the couple's only child, was born, her mother immediately began training her for a Hollywood career. From a young age, she showed a remarkable talent for acting, assuming her first role at the age of 3, playing Kimberly McDonald in the drama miniseries Fatal Vision, and quickly became a sought-after child actress in Hollywood. Her big break came in 1987, when she was cast as Thea Brody in Jaws: The Revenge. She then assumed roles as Ducky in The Land Before Time in 1988, and what would be her last role as Anne Marie in 1989's All Dogs Go to Heaven. In addition to her film roles, Judith appeared in dozens of commercials and several television shows, including St. Elsewhere, Cagney and Lacey, and Growing Pains. She became successful as a commercial actress, according to her agent, Ruth Hansen, partly because she looked much younger than she was, playing a 7 or 8-year-old when she was 10. This was because she was short for her age, standing only 3 feet 8 inches. Later, she received injections to spur her growth. Though she wasn't a star just yet, her estimated $100,000 a year income did help buy a modest 3-bedroom house in the West Hill area in 1985. Despite her success, Judith's life at home was anything but glamorous. The family's next-door neighbor reported just days before Judith's life came to an end that Maria told her that her husband became abusive and threatening when he drank. She said Maria told her she was thinking about filing for divorce and moving to an apartment she was using as a daytime refuge. The neighbor said she'd encouraged Maria several times to move out, but she said Maria would reply that she'd worked too hard helping her daughter's acting career to give up her family and home. Maria also said she planned to cash her daughter's $12,000 federal tax refund check the day of the tragedy, before her husband could get it. According to a relative, when Judith prepared to leave Los Angeles for the Bahamas to film Jaws: The Revenge, her father pulled a knife and threatened her, saying, "If you decide not to come back, I will cut your throat." Judith returned 2 months later, but the rage boiling inside the family's home did not diminish, and to cope, she plucked out her eyelashes and her cat's whiskers. A friend and fellow plumber is also to have reportedly said that Joseph told him hundreds of times he was going to kill his wife. "I'd try to calm him down. I'd tell him, if you kill her, what will happen to your little one?" Joseph's response? "I gotta kill her too." In December 1986, Maria reported Joseph to the Los Angeles County Department of Children's Services, accusing him of threatening over the last 5 years to kill her and of choking her and hitting her in the face. Police found no visible injuries, and Maria eventually declined to prosecute. Joseph actually gave up drinking at one point, but was unable to work himself back into the good graces of his wife. Family friends said Judith spoke ominously of her home life. "I'm afraid to go home. My daddy is miserable. My daddy is drunk every day, and I know he wants to kill my mother." On July 27, 1988, 55-year-old Joseph followed through on years of threats when he shot his 48-year-old wife Maria in the hallway of their San Fernando Valley home and his 10-year-old daughter Judith in her bed. Both had been shot once in the head. Judith's body was found in her canopy bed near the pink television her father had given her, according to a neighbor, to apologize for yanking her hair in a fit of anger. After the murders, he doused their bodies and the home with gasoline, setting the house on fire before taking his own life in the garage with a shot to his head using a .32 caliber pistol. Police said the weapon was found in the father's hand and a gas can lay about 4 feet from his body. All Dogs Go to Heaven, Judith's final film, was released posthumously. The murder of Judith and her mother left a lasting impact on those who knew them, as well as on the broader community. Despite multiple reports of abuse, the system was unable to intervene in time due to insufficient evidence. That May, Judith was scheduled to audition a song for an animated feature. That's when her agent realized how bad Judith was. She'd seen enough and decided to step in. She strongly suggested Maria take Judith to a child psychologist. While the therapist wouldn't discuss the case, she did tell the agent that she would have to report her findings to Children's Services. Apparently, Maria had a plan of action she felt safe with, so the agency let her carry it out. That involved eventually separating from her husband. Judith's agent, though, said the mother described a different encounter with the caseworker where Maria alleged that they weren't doing anything, so she had to handle it herself. Maria's plan of action involved moving to her own apartment. She would spend her days there with her daughter, then return home at night. It would later be found out that even though she had gotten the apartment, she hadn't taken her daughter and moved in. The Commission for Children's Services said there was money in the budget to remove the girl from the home, but that would have resulted in her and her mother being separated. Judith's agent urged Maria to make a final break from her husband, but she kept hesitating, saying in June that she wanted to stay in the neighborhood for Judith's birthday. Then, in July, she said she didn't want to lose her home. Then, on Monday, July 25th, Judith missed an appointment at Hanna-Barbera Productions, Inc. Her agent said her father told her a big car had come and taken Judith and his wife to San Diego. It's believed the pair were killed Monday or Tuesday. On Tuesday night, Joseph told his daughter's agent in a telephone call that he decided to move out of the family home for good, but planned to stick around long enough to, quote, say goodbye to his little girl. After an investigation, it was determined that an overburdened Los Angeles County Department of Children's Services prematurely dropped its investigation into threats of violence in the family of Judith Barsi. The Commission for Children's Services recommended that the department become more sensitive to the impact of domestic violence on children and develop clearer guidelines for closing an inquiry.